Good morning, traders. Welcome back to another pre-market watch list here today. Thank you, as always, for tuning in to our channel. So hopefully, hold on, I accidentally had the volume up, so there might be an echo for a second, but I think it should go away. So please let me know if it starts echoing or if the echo goes away. So is there an echo, no echo? Good morning, guys. Good morning. All good? All right, good. Yeah, because it almost got messed up there. Almost got messed up. All right, so anywho, thank you guys again for tuning in. Good morning to everybody here. We'll wait a few seconds before we get going. Get some more people in here. Do I see Baba as a short? Maybe, possibly. We can talk about that a little bit. I did have some questions earlier on that stock today as well. So let's flip to the next screen here real fast. Here you guys go. So there are all the stocks as far as what's gapping up, what's gapping down. Top of the screen are going to be, again, the tickers that I'm watching today. Actually, one second. Let me change that. Let's see. AMD, Tesla, and Netflix. All right, I just edited those. So also going to be watching AMD, going to be watching Tesla, and going to be watching Netflix. So again, those are going to be kind of my mains up at the top that I'm trading. And then, of course, here are all the different stocks gapping up and down. So you guys can go ahead, write those down, do what you need to do there. We'll talk about Netflix. It ended up being a long yesterday, which was nice. I kind of butchered yesterday's trading day pretty bad. Yes, I am completely aware of how options work. Yeah. But in the way that I particularly trade, it's not, well, for one, I'm not experienced enough in options to go full-fledged in them, but I do trade options every once in a while. Basically, you're looking at the leverage side of options. That's why you can, double, triple your investment, is because of the leverage behind them, which then also plays a risk factor too. So there's risks and there's benefits to options as well as there are stocks. I'm just very good at trading stocks. I'm not as good at trading options. If I were more skilled at trading options, I would probably trade more options too. But it is an area that I am learning day by day. All right, awesome. So it looks like everybody should be pretty good on that. All right, let's move to the next one. All right, guys, so first one. So today should be a pretty good day for me, considering this is kind of my style go-to that I like. Gap downs, gap ups. So here we are. This is Kroger. We're looking at Kroger right now. Kroger had earnings today. If you ask me, it looks like it's more of a mixed. Kroger appears to me to be more of a mixed earnings report. Kind of some good, kind of some bad. So it's gapping down today. What I would first say to do, hold on one second, is look at Kroger, right? So the last time, a couple of the times, right? A couple times Kroger had earnings, it gapped down, and then during the day, it ended up having a sell-off from about 25 to a low of 22. So it had a couple dollars of movement there. Our most recent earnings on Kroger was a gap up, and once it gapped up, it ended up pulling back to 27, 28, and running to 29. So when Kroger has earnings, it has the possibility and usually gaps down and has daily movement of about $2 to $3 a share. So that's what I could expect to see here today on Kroger, is a price movement once the bell opens of about $2 to $3 a share. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for here today on Kroger. So if we look at the 180-day chart, basically what it's showing us is that Kroger just gapped down from, previous highs all the way down to a low of about 28, which is also a strong support area. So today I would expect we're probably going to see a little bit of a fight on Kroger, right? This is a big gap down. We're also $28 is a major support area in terms of Kroger. So, you know, it's hard for me to say that this is going to be a really good short below 28. I don't honestly think, you know, it's going to drop too far below 28. And if it does, I think it's going to get quickly bought right back up. So what I would personally like to see happen with Kroger is I would actually like to see Kroger come all the way back up pre-market and actually get up higher like this. And then we can get in short around 30 or something. You know, I don't know what it's going to do exactly. But the way that I would go about trading this is really hoping that Kroger can make it back up to, you know, a price of $30 or at least a price of $29.50. But I would like to see it kind of trickle back up. And then once it gets here, if there's some signs of rejections, I'll be looking to short. So I am short bias on it if we can get up towards like $30. If we can't get up towards $30 and it ends up dropping all the way down to like 28 pre-market, then I'd be, you know, more inclined that there's going to be a long out of the gate. So, you know, if Kroger ends up dropping down towards a price of like 28 pre-market, or by the time the market opens, if we're around 28, I see it more of more of a long, to be honest, because it's already down towards support. But if it can stay up towards 29.50s and 30s, then I would see it as a short down to 28, right? So we're kind of playing the what if game here with Kroger because it's still kind of hovering in an uncertain area right now. Okay, so definitely going to be watching Kroger short. It probably has, you know, the potential of moving like $2 to $3 a share today. All right, next one on the list is PVTL. PVTL is also a stock that's gapped down. Now, I don't honestly see PVTL as... It's hard for me to see this as a short play. I actually see it as a possible long because if you look here, right, look at this. So the last time PVTL had earnings, it ended up gapping up, right? And now we're having earnings and it's gapping down. It literally just made the same exact move that it made the last time it had earnings. The only difference here is with it gapping down this time, it just gapped down into the last gap up. So what it just did was what we call a gap fill. And when stocks fill their gaps, they usually kind of hit resistance or support there. So what I'm getting at is if we look at a daily chart here, okay, if you look at this daily chart, you'll see that PVTL had a gap here, right? So this yellow arrow is the start of the gap, and then this red arrow is the end of the gap, right? Now today, if we go back to a 180-day chart, all right, so again, if we do like a red box here, this was that gap, like right around here, right? So PVTL just gapped down today and filled that whole gap that happened the last time we had earnings, and it's down near a support. So for me, it looks as if really PVTL just gapped down into support. So it's hard for me to justify wanting to short it at a support level considering we're so low near the $20 mark. So, you know, the way I see it is PVTL, I think if it does move lower, we could see it as low as about $20 today, but not much lower than $20. I actually see that if, you know, it hits $20, we could bounce on $20, you know. So again, kind of a little wishy-washy here on the PVTL trade because it's already down so much. It gapped down, filled the gap from last earnings. It's on support. So all the stars aren't aligning for the best possible short, right? There might be a short play, but it's not like a A1 short, right? I think it's more of like a wishy-washy play. So, but again, it's a major gap down in earnings. So this thing will be volatile, and there's possibility for some trades on there, right? So again, going to be watching this. So some things to think about could be, you know, it has gapped down. We would like to see it spike back up. And if it does, you know, just mark off 23, mark off 22 is pretty close, but you can mark off 22, 23, and 24 as possible rejection areas where we could see this pop up. short, pop up, short, pop up, short. All right, so we'll see. All right, next one on the list here is going to be TLRD, another earnings play. So TLRD, looking back at a 1-year chart, you will see that the last time it had earnings, it gapped down, and then once it gapped down, it went from 28 to a low of 25, so it had $3 per share movement. So we know that on earnings days, TLRD can see a significant kind of daily or active trading day as far as fluctuation in price goes. Now today, it is gapping up. And again, it is gapped right up into this kind of resistance area, right? So I think if TLRD does have a strong day, we could probably see it up to 28, maybe $29 a share. If this gap up is true and it goes into a bullish run or a bullish trade to the upside, I think we could see it as high as about $28 to $29 a share. So we'll be watching TLRD here long. Ideally, what I would like to see is always a dip on these. I would like to see it dip down towards, 25.40 and then go for a long trade. Ideally, the pre-market high breakout, it's going to be over $26.80. So there's going to be some people to trade the pre-market high breakout, whereas the more experienced traders are going to be looking in at getting in on a dip. So that's kind of what I'm watching there on TLRD, is a dip and then a push, right? So we'll see. We'll follow it. Excuse me. So that's going to be my 3 main plays for the day. I'll briefly touch here on BABA. So I don't necessarily see BABA as a short play today. I mean, actually, it could be, right? So you got to think. When stocks are downtrending, right? Watch this, right? When stocks downtrend, they always have pop-ups. It's downtrending. It just popped right up to the, well, actually, that's wrong because that's a daily chart. I need to do a 180-day. 1 second. Yeah, never mind. Well, let's see. What's the price? That price is at 164. 164. Yeah, that's basically right. Yeah. Okay, so BABA, it's trending down, right? And when stocks trend down, or if they're trending up, when they pull back, they usually pull back to the 9 moving average, and then they kind of keep going in that direction. So that's kind of it right now, is BABA just kind of pulled back to, or you could say pulled up, or however you want to say it, bounced back up to the 9 moving average on the daily chart, which means it basically just pushed right up into its moving average resistance on the yearly chart. So, it's arguable that it could push through the 9 moving average, hit 165, but again, right, look at this daily chart here. Let me get these old drawings off. BABA has a pretty strong, a pretty significant bounce at 165 on the date of 8/15. That bounce on the date of 8/15 creates a resistance mark on our chart for BABA. So going into like a 1-minute chart, 165 is a pretty good breakout level, essentially, right? If 165 does actually well, it has broken 165, but I mean that bounce spot from its previous kind of bounce at 8/15. If we can break over that, then I could see us pushing up towards 167, 168, 169. So I see BABA as a bullish trade for the day, so I would be long bias, right? I mean, if you just look at the 20-day chart, we've been trending down, right? Look at this. Ready? Hold on 1 second. Ready? Look at we're going to do this in terms of red and green. Okay, let me make this bigger. Right, so look, here's BABA trending down, trending down, trending down, trending down. Okay, now BABA's going green, well, actually, let me put it like this. The yellow will be kind of like, the start, and then if we get over, hold on, and then I'm gonna do like a little blue line. The blue will be like the break-even kind of spot right there. Boom, boom, and then the green will be where we could potentially be breaking out. Okay, because this red line is what's showing the downtrend. This blue line is kind of a, the resistance. This is where, like, we could see more short sellers coming in to pile it down. Basically, this is the way this works. Either we have more shorts coming in around this 165 trying to push it down to keep the trend down, or the buyers win the battle over the shorts and the sellers, and they push it up over this 165 area with authority, and then that can cause some short sellers to get squeezed, and it could go on like a little mini bull run. So this 165 level area, it's pretty significant, and we're just popping to 165.40, 165.36. So in my opinion, I think we could be looking at a long bias trade on BABA today. And it's well needed, right? It's well needed for some type of, squeeze or bounce for BABA, just because, I mean, look at the yearly chart. It's been getting crushed, right? So anywho, I am long-term short bias. So I will be short swinging BABA here soon. This might actually be what I was looking for to start getting in short on BABA. This big move up, if we get it, because right, we got a death cross here on BABA. Oop, that's not my drawing tools. Excuse me. Let me just get out of that. So again, we have a death cross here on BABA, so that shows that we could be entering into a long-term sell-off. So I would like to get in short closer to, maybe like 170s, 180s for a short swing on BABA, but I do think there's going to be a short-term long play that might be occurring today. So I would keep BABA on watch for a long. Yeah. Chew HEAR, I probably wouldn't trade that. We got a few minutes here. We got about 10 minutes. I'll briefly touch AMD. So as many of you know by watching my video yesterday, pre-market and the live trading, I was again completely incorrect. Now, I could say that I was possibly wrong on my thesis due to the fact that I was looking at a 180-day chart, which showed 3 pullbacks rather than the daily chart. So it's possible, arguable, that I was looking at a wrong time frame. Part of my analysis, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's just strong. I mean, AMD is extremely strong right now. There's a lot of people that continuously buy it. Institutions are continuously buying it. So I think in terms of me, I'm always short bias on big runners, and that's something you should be too, right? Just because they're going up doesn't, well, let me phrase this. Just because you're short bias on it doesn't mean you can't make money on it while it's going up. But anytime stocks look like this, right? Anytime they look like that, you should always be thinking short, right? Always, right? Now people are gonna go, why would you think short if it's just shooting up? Well, because that's how you're supposed to think, right? You're not supposed to be thinking buy when this thing's flying. You're supposed to be thinking sell. And then when things are going down, that's when they turn into buy, right? Just like a car. If a car is super high price, it doesn't mean you should be buy. That just means other people are buying. And eventually when that stops, you're going to get sell, right? And then when people are selling, eventually that selling pressure will stop and you'll have the best opportunity to buy. So still short bias. It's still going crazy. It's still on a run. So just let AMD do its thing. I've at this point become numb to the idea, and whatever direction it goes, I'm going to trade it. Whatever direction it's not going, I won't trade it. So I will say this, when I ended my video yesterday, the live recording, I was down about $1,000, $900, and then later in the day I was able to come back and hop into AMD and ended up trading AMD pretty strong, so that I could end my day down about $150. So I ended up gaining back a good chunk of change. So I did still have a red day yesterday, but it was only about $100. Well, actually, it's more like 150, but better than 900. So I was happy about that. So AMD, again, it looks strong. I really would not be messing with it short bias. After yesterday and the strong close, I think we're going to see another green day continuation on this, right? That's AMD. I think someone else was asking about something else. Tesla, TLRY, Tesla. Okay, yes, I'll talk about Tesla real fast. And then also, remember how I was literally just saying when you see stocks going straight up, you think short. What other stock is that? That is a TLRY. This, okay? This is an absolute joke, okay? If you're in TLRY right now, or you have been, like, kudos and congratulations, you absolutely crushed it. But that is like the scariest thing. I would never want to be holding that, because that, what you're seeing there on TLRY, and maybe let me zoom in a bit here, right? And let's actually, we'll do a 180-day chart because it'll make it look a little, well, actually, that makes it look better. So let's do this. Let's look at it like this, right? This is extremely scary to me. That to me is just like a big joke. Now, many are going to go, well, the marijuana industry is booming, or it's going to boom and this and that. Well, yeah, sure. Tell me something I don't know. I'll tell you something that you might not know. Look at that chart. Tell me what you see on that chart. The only thing I see on TLRY is 100% indecision, uncertainty, speculative, right? Ready? I'll show you. How do I know? Well, look at this. There's a doji. There's an inverted hammer candle. There's a doji. There's an indecisive bearish day. There's a massive doji. There's another hammer, inverted hammer, like doji down here. I mean, just tons of indecisive trading. And then secondly, ready? I'm going to use these green boxes to describe gaps in the chart. Ready? There's a gap. There's a gap, 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 gap. Every single day, this thing's gapping up, it's gapping down. Now, stocks do naturally tend to gap up and down, but when stocks gap up that much back and forth, that's just super indecisive. Nobody really has a freaking clue at this point. Nobody knows. Their earnings report, if I can remember correctly, their last earnings report for TLRY was, I mean, you might have to correct me, but for the sake of the video, I think the last time TLRY had earnings, they were down on, their sales were up, or was it earnings? Or maybe their revenue was up, but they're down on earnings, and that they were looking at moving into looking at international deals for medical marijuana, right? They were thinking about expanding into international markets was the case. So the way I seen it was, if their earnings, or if their revenue was up but their earnings were down, chances are they were spending a lot of their gross revenue and some of their incoming cash flow on different things. Like they were having more expenses, whether that was new growing material, employees, research and development, expansion, new factories, warehouse products, different things, right? So to me, it does seem like if their sales were up, they have, a good competitive side to them. They are able to attract buyers in a sense to their service or product. And then with their revenue, with their earnings being down, that's what their like take home is. They're probably spending more money on expansion, which is a good sign for the business. But again, this is a recent IPO with one earnings that basically shows that they're not yet really profitable. So it's still speculative. And right now the stock is just extremely overvalued and overpumped. And I'd be super cautious for anybody who's an investor. Because if it looks like that, it could easily just down $20, $30 a share in 2 days. So I'm not personally trading it. I'm not actively trading that one, but it's kind of sketchy. I would say there's some time to hold out till this next earnings. So if you have like a really good average on TLRY, I would say, you know what, stick it out. I mean, you could stick it out till next earnings, and see what happens then. But there's probably going to be a significant pullback on that stock before earnings. And then last one I'll touch on here will be Tesla. All right, so Tesla should be up from last time I checked. Yes, they're up from yesterday. So far, Tesla is doing exactly what we had anticipated after the news, so that's a good sign. I think so. This is for Tesla 3, right? You asked a question to look at Tesla today. For me personally, right? The easy money. Listen to this. The easy money on Tesla just happened, right? From its low to like where it's at now. That was the easy money. That was the easy trading, the easy flow. Now that we've recovered so well off that bottom, we're getting closer to 300. People know 300 is a strong resistance. So you're starting to get those people that were buyers on this low, that at least are the short-term buyers, not long-term, right? Short-term traders, day traders, swing traders. They're starting to look at 300 and go, okay, this is a resistance. I'm probably going to start needing to sell here. Along with the people just starting to sell their long positions, you're going to get new short sellers or existing short sellers starting to go, okay, we just bounced. We might start rolling. We're getting closer to 300. I might start adding in new short positions or taking a new short position, or just new short sellers are going to look to enter around that 300 mark on Tesla. So this is where, not saying this is where the stock's just going to drop, but this is an area where you could start to see share accumulation for a downward move. So right now, I would say for Tesla over the coming days, no guarantee, I'm never always right, but in my mind, we're getting close to 300. So this is an area where you could start seeing back and forth rally trading, kind of, up and down, where it's not quite sure where it wants to. It looks like it's not quite sure where it wants to go, when in reality, it's just kind of going back and forth to test highs, drop to test lows. So it's going to be a rally, right? This 300 should be a rally point where you got people selling and people buying. And the goal here is to have the buyers win the battle and get this price up over 300 and cook into the upside, where it'll squeeze more short sellers. And the objective for the shorts and the sellers is to keep this thing below 300 and to eventually have all those people that just dip bought Tesla give in and start selling too, and then that will create the next wave to the downside. But this is kind of what I was projecting. We're going to have a strong bounce, and then we're going to hover and try and trade around this 300 price, maybe even over 300 for a little bit. Again, I expect it to be in this 300. I think 300 is a respectable area for this to stay and maybe trade a little bit until we come to our next earnings. There's going to be some moves, but again, I think we're going to see for at least the next coming days, Tesla just be kind of shaky around the 300. Anywho, that's all I have for you guys today. I'm going to get back to, hold on one second. That's all I have for you guys today on today's pre-market watch list. So I do hope that helps you guys determine what you might want to trade today, or give you some insight into how I trade things. Other than that, guys, thank you guys very much for tuning in. Always do give me a thumbs up before you head out. We have 400 people that are watching this right now, so that could at least be 400 thumbs up. If you have the time to go click for me, I would appreciate it. Other than that, guys, I will see you guys all tomorrow morning for the next watch list. All right, take care.